Who's actually going to get the most out of this 42-inch built-in gas grill, and who would be better off putting the money toward a portable unit or a charcoal smoker? If you're wondering whether the Summerset Alturi Series Alt 42 LP is the right fit for your backyard kitchen, stick around. I'm going to walk through the kind of everyday situations that make the decision clear, and I'll point out the hidden trade-offs that most shoppers only notice after the first summer season. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First off, let me address the hesitation that most people feel when they see a built-in label. A built-in grill promises a seamless look, the burners sit flush with your cabinets, the control panel is protected from the elements, and the whole thing feels more like an appliance than an afterthought add-on. That promise sounds great on paper, but in real life the biggest risk is ending up with a unit that either doesn't match your existing outdoor layout or forces you into a cooking style you never intended to adopt. The Alturi series tries to solve the visual mismatch problem, but the question is whether the practical compromises are worth the aesthetic payoff. If you already have a permanent outdoor kitchen, meaning you own a countertop, a sink line, and maybe a small fridge tucked under a pergola, the Alturi feels like a natural extension. The 42-inch width slots into a standard countertop groove without looking like a bolt-on, and the low-profile control panel stays out of the sun, which means fewer heat-related glitches on the knobs. For folks who love to host weekend barbecues for a crowd of 10 or more, the grill's 3 burners give enough surface area to sear steaks on one side while keeping a side of vegetables warm on the other. The built-in design also means you won't have to worry about moving the grill around for storage. It's literally bolted in place, freeing up floor space for a dining table or a lounge set. On the flip side, if you're living in an apartment or have a modest patio with only a single portable grill at the moment, the Alturi might feel overkill. The installation process itself requires a dedicated gas line, concrete or brick backing, and a level countertop that can support the grill's weight. That's a fairly involved DIY job unless you're comfortable running a propane line and mixing cement, or you're willing to pay a professional installer. For the occasional grill master who only fires up the Barbie a few times a year, spending that kind of money and effort just to hide the grill behind a countertop probably isn't the smartest move. Now let's talk about day-to-day usability. The 3 independent burners each have individual knobs, which on first glance seems like a great way to control heat zones. In practice, the spacing between the burners is a little tighter than you might expect on a freestanding 42-inch unit, so when you're cooking a thick slab of ribs you'll have to flip it more often to avoid hotspots. That said, the grill does come with a built-in grease management system that redirects drippings into a removable tray, a feature that makes cleanup after a barbecue considerably less messy than the puddles you get with older gas grills. The tray slides out without lifting the whole grill, so you can scrape it clean with a spatula and rinse it under the hose. For someone who values a quick turnover between meals, that ease of cleaning is a real time saver. A practical weakness shows up when you try to use the grill in windy conditions. Because the burners are tucked under a metal hood, the wind can swirl across the surface and cause uneven flame distribution, especially on the outer edges of the cooking zone. I've tested a similar size built-in model on a breezy summer evening, and the result was a noticeable dip in temperature on the far left burner, making it difficult to maintain a steady sear on a steak. If you live in a region where gusts are common, think coastal areas or open-field backyards, you may need to invest in a windshield or accept that you'll have to rotate your food more often than you'd like. Another point that often gets overlooked is the propane consumption rate. The Alturi's 3 burners together can draw upwards of 45,000 BTU per hour when all knobs are turned up. For most backyard cooks, that's fine, but if you're planning long, low and slow sessions, say a slow-cooked brisket that runs for 10 hours, the tank will deplete faster than you'd expect, which means more frequent tank swaps or a larger propane cylinder. That isn't a deal breaker, but it's a hidden cost that can add up if you're not careful with your heat settings. If you're trying to decide whether this grill is worth the price tag, think about the value you'll actually get from the built-in integration. The Alturi's stainless steel burners are designed to resist rust and corrosion, so years of outdoor exposure won't turn them into a rusted mess. The integrated